Okay, so hello YouTube, my name is Vlad, and what I have in front of me is ASUS X551C, and this thing has a faulty keyboard, and I actually ordered a new one off of eBay, and I will be replacing it, so I'll be showing you my attempt of replacing it. Now, I actually, to be honest, I didn't see the type of keyboard when I accepted the job, but if I knew that this was going to be such hassle, and this will be a hassle, I would never accept the job. Anyway, so since I did accept the job, I will be replacing it, so let's start. Okay, first of all, I'll need to remove all of the screws, and there are a lot of screws. Now this one is already longer, so basically all of the screws are of a different size so far. Okay. And for some reason, seriously, all of the screws are different. And for some reason, this thing feels like it has already been opened. So, go figure. And here I have a USB dongle, which I will be removing. So, this thing will be actually, I believe, quite easy to open. But, yeah. So I need my pry tools. Let's try this one. This thing is actually quite easy to open, but I'm not quite sure how easy the keyboard repair will be. And this laptop is actually quite dirty. Well, so far it looks quite dirty. So, some prying later. Oh my. Now let me show you how dirty this thing actually is. So, as you can yeah, just to show you. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's leave this thing for later, and now let's try to replace the keyboard. Oh boy, this is quite dirty. I'm actually not quite sure what's this thing being used for, but yeah. So, okay. Okay, this thing just popped out. So basically, to remove the, you just pull this thing up. But yeah. Oh boy. This is not a job I was expecting. Okay. And yeah. Let's try to use a scalpel. Okay. Okay, I will be using scalpel, so let's see how this thing will end up. So basically I need to remove all of the white ones. And the problem with this thing is, I'm not quite sure how will I, well, once I place the new keyboard, how will I glue it back in. But yeah, this thing is, design of this thing is horrible. So next time, I think I actually won't accept such a job, definitely. I might be using hot glue gun or something like that, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, this thing was not made to be repaired, it truly was not. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah. Seriously, this is horrific. And the reason I'm actually pushing this thing upwards is so that this thing actually can be longer than by me cutting it. That way I'll actually have some space to heat it up with my soldering iron and put the new one back in. But yeah. Anyway, this is horrific, seriously. I would actually expect such design from Apple, not from ASUS, but there you have it. So, the old keyboard. So, and the new keyboard. So, you know what? Let's heat up my soldering iron, and I have this tip. And let's see where this thing will lead me. By the way, this computer is so dirty, bloody fucking hell. And yeah, believe it or not, Lemon is actually using it. So there you have it. Let's try to melt this thing and see where this thing will lead us. So I'm assuming you can actually repair this thing maybe once, but that is pretty much it. Twice, not really. Well, as you can see, this thing actually does not look that bad, but yeah, not the greatest design, to be honest. Now I actually need some plastic. Okay. To be honest, it does not look actually that bad at all, but yeah. It actually feels okay, I guess. But fine, yeah. Definitely. So, there you have it. This thing has actually been, well, pressed in. And this thing actually does not look that bad, so... Now I do need to, well, put this thing back. Now, will this thing hold? It will, but I will be placing some duct tape in here and in here. Again, this is not the greatest design. And as you can see, there is some 3M tape in here. Let me show you, which I will be using to, well, stick to this. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, this thing has actually been well, replaced. I've used this silver tape because it is actually way better than duct tape. It holds way better, and yeah, in here and in here. And this thing actually feels quite nice. So the next thing I will be doing is actually cleaning the laptop. And the first thing I will be doing is well, removing the battery, because I don't want to have this thing turned on. So let's try with a screwdriver. Oh, there you have it. Maybe this one will go up. Okay, there you have it. So yeah, this thing is so dirty, seriously. Anyway, to remove the screen, you need to remove this plastic, unglue it by pressing up, and just pull this thing up. And this thing moved. There are a couple of screws that hold the motherboard and they are marked with arrows. So let's remove them. So one is in here, second one is in here. This is so dirty, seriously. One and one and one. There are three. And I will be replacing the thermal paste. So far all of the screws are of the same size, so that is nice. And you need to remove the LAN connector and observe the where the white one is and where the black one is. And I will be removing the hard drive. So 2 more screws. This one might be longer. No, still same size. And the hard drive is held with this screw as well. And I need to remove the DVD drive. There is one more in here, also marked by arrow, and I need to remove the fan. And there are actually 2 more that are marked in here and they have different screws. So this one will be placed in a different pile, I guess. You need to remove this, which are speakers. So there is one that holds the speakers. And there is one more in here. Seriously, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws in total which hold the motherboard. And this one actually broke while trying to remove it, because I guess the plastic just didn't make it. Oh, well. Okay, so this is the motherboard, and there is no heatsink in here, so there is really no need to... Well, this is the heatsink. Seriously. This is the heatsink. Well, I guess you need to clean it, because this one got quite dirty, but yeah. So, I'll be using this thing and be back after I clean the entire motherboard. Now, since I actually have this thing opened, I will be actually replacing the thermal paste in here. Although I feel that there is no need, but yeah, why not? So, there are a couple of screws marked from 1 to 4, so let's start with 1. So the thermal paste is actually rock solid. So replacing this thing is actually a good idea. So the grease I always use is MX4 or MX2. This one is 4. And the spreader. And now I can put this thing back actually. And just to clean this thing a bit more. I'm not quite sure what this woman does with this laptop, but this is horrific. And let's hope that this thing will work, because if it doesn't, that would suck very much. I do believe that this thing is not meant to be fixed twice, seriously. And we'll just use a bit of a brute force. I guess, and try to turn it on. Let's see whether this thing will work or not. And it actually shows something on the screen, and there you have it. This is booting. Now let's see whether the keyboard will work. Oh, and yeah, the Windows did get updated, so this thing might boot up a bit slower, but yeah. But basically that is it for this video. If you like this video, please click thumbs up. If you did not, thumbs down. And if you're like, click thumbs up. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And that is pretty much it. Oh, yeah, I do need to test the keyboard. I boot it up into Windows and let's see whether this thing actually works or not. Oh, come on. So, this is a test of, and then creation letters. Yes, it does seem to work. So, there you have it. It actually works. Well, goodbye. Bye-bye.